These are some of the semiconductor devices. So we are going to see how they are made. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about semiconductors, intrinsic, extrinsic, p-n junction diode, Zener diodes, rectifiers, LEDs, solar cells, and transistors. Let us see what is conduction first. So we compare it with our energy level diagram. This one, the valence band and the conduction band, they are overlapping each other. Obviously, there are a lot of electrons for conduction. That is nothing but the conductor, wherein there is no forbidden energy gap. Next to conductor, we have a little bit more gap compared to the conductor, that's the semiconductor, wherein at room temperature the electrons in the valence band is not available in the conduction band. Whereas we have the insulators wherein the forbidden energy gap is very large, the electrons in valence band do not reach the conduction band. We have the semiconductors now, about which we are going to learn in this topic. Semiconductors are of two types, the extrinsic and the intrinsic. Extrinsic is N-type and P-type. Rather, the intrinsic semiconductor is actually the pure semiconductor. The intrinsic semiconductor is doped with impurity to form extrinsic semiconductor. So let us see the structure of one of the intrinsic semiconductor. This is a silicon crystal with lot of silicon atoms. Let us see one of the silicon or germanium atoms. It is having a valency 4. So there are 4 electrons in the outermost orbit of each of the silicon atoms. So it joins with the neighboring one and it shares electrons from the neighboring atoms and they complete the octet structure. This is continued in the whole of the silicon crystal. So we have these 4 covalent bonds with from the neighboring silicon atoms. Now let us see how to make this intrinsic semiconductor into an extrinsic semiconductor. That is, we'll see the first N-type. Now let us take arsenic at the center. As we can see, the red ones are silicon or germanium electrons, and we have a pentavalent impurity because valency of arsenic is 5. And because it is 5, out of that, 4 forms covalent bonds and 1 is a free electron. And since this impurity donates 1 electron, which is available for conduction, so hence it is known as a donor impurity. So you have lot of free electrons available for conductors there which are negatively charged, and hence it is called the N-type semiconductor. Now let's see the other one, the P-type semiconductor. So we have, instead of a pentavalent impurity, you have a trivalent impurity. So only 3 covalent bonds are formed. One is left free. The absence of an electron is a presence of a positive charge, which is called the hole. And this hole is ready to accept an electron and it is equivalent to a positive charge. Therefore, this impurity is called the acceptor impurity. Let us see how a p-n junction diode is formed. Now, it is only a single semiconductor crystal. Remember that it is not joined. It is a single semiconductor crystal, I repeat. On one side, it is a p-type. The other side, it is n-type doped. So as soon as the junction is formed, these positive charges from the p-type and the negative charges from the n-type, which are called the majority charge carriers, which drift towards each other. And at the center, they combine with each other and they become neutral. But after some time, on the p side, just near the junction, there are the negative charges, and near the junction on the n side, there are positive charges which develops a potential, and near this p-n junction, this potential is known as the barrier potential. And this region is formed because of some depletion of some charges before. Hence, this region is called the depletion layer or depletion region. This is a symbol of a p-n junction diode. The potential barrier for germanium diode is about 0.3 volts, and for silicon diode, it is about 0.7 volts. Let us see the working of a p-n junction diode. The most important word we have seen is doping. Now, the second important word is biasing. Let us see what is forward biasing. So, the positive P is connected to the positive terminal as you see in the diagram, and the negative N is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. This is forward biasing. Now, let's see why. This is a reduced p-n junction layer or depletion region. The junction becomes smaller because the P is pushed towards N and the N, the negative charges, are pushed towards P. So the depletion layer is becoming smaller. The direction of current when the positive terminal of the battery is connected to the region of the negative terminal is connected to the N region of the junction diode, then the diode is said to be forward biased. In forward bias, the resistance of the diode is very low and the diode acts as a closed switch. The potential barrier is reduced and the current starts flowing. Working of the p-n junction diode when it is reverse bias. Now, as you can see in the diagram, that P is connected to the negative terminal, N is connected to the positive terminal. You have an increased P junction or depletion layer. So, when the positive terminal of the battery is connected to the N region and the negative terminal is connected to the P region of the junction diode, then the diode is reverse biased. The width of the depletion layer increases. In reverse bias condition, the resistance of a diode is very high and it acts as an open switch. This is the characteristics of a p-n junction diode we have seen earlier. Current versus potential difference. This is forward bias, this is reverse bias. This is the knee voltage about 0.7 volts for silicon. This is a reverse breakdown voltage. This is a Zener breakdown or the avalanche breakdown about 20 microamperes for silicon. So that's all. We'll continue next